Hello, my name is Dan Segura, the Director of Student Services for the College of the Arts and Media. I'm here with Dr. Eric Tucker, the Director of the School of Music and Professor of Voice and Opera. Dr. Tucker?
Good morning, Dan. How you doing this morning?
I'm great. Could you just give me a quick overview of the School of Music?
Certainly. I mean, it's concerning our degrees. We have several very successful degrees that we offer. Primary would be the BME, the Bachelor's in Music Education, which is a degree that you would be interested in if you were wanting to teach in the secondary and public schools. And we have a great success with this degree. Many of our grads, as very high job placement rating actually, are teaching either in Michigan or all over the country in great positions. We also have the BM in performance, which all the instruments that we offer, the strings, the brass, voice, winds, a very great degree, very tailored to the student. Here at CMU, you will study with only full-time applied faculty members and will not be studying with graduate students. The wonderful degree. We have many of our students who are out in the field in positions throughout opera companies and Broadway musicals, as well as performing organizations as impressive as the New York Philharmonic. We also have BA/BS degrees, and those concentrations are generally more towards theory composition. Those are really great degrees because, especially for folks nowadays who are wanting to create their own music and have their own venues and their own music career, it's a really great songwriting courses, really great degree that we offer that specialize in those. Additionally, with the BA and the BS degrees, that also gives the student the flexibility to be able to do concentrations in other things throughout the university, basically build your degree for those students who would like to have some music, but not have it to be the overriding theme in their undergraduate career.
Okay, well, that's helpful to know. Thank you. So how does a student become a music student if they just decided that maybe that was their interest right now?
You mean as a current high school student or as somebody who is already in college?
Well, even somebody who is maybe at orientation today and they had an interest in music, but they didn't really decide that they want to pursue that until just now.
Okay, well, the School of Music has formalized music auditions that go January, February, and March, and I think we have about 5 of those. At that time is when we do testing with the student concerning their oral skills as well as their experience in music theory. A lot of folks just want to be a musician, but being a musician, it takes skill and it takes a lot of hard work and it takes a lot of discipline. And I don't mean to discourage folks. I just mean that there is a process for having a career and a profession, just like there is a process for getting into that career and that profession, that education. So I would probably recommend that anybody who was seriously interested in pursuing music as a career and a degree at CMU would then contact the School of Music. Perhaps if there are any availabilities, get into some lessons in the fall, such to prepare for an audition in the spring. And the School of Music is usually pretty good about being able to make up some of that lost time as far as that semester. You may be able to take some classes that are in the music curriculum for which you would not have to be a major at this time, but you will have to do a formal audition to become a music major.
Okay, well, that's understandable, certainly. Could you tell me what a day in the life looks like for a music student?
Well, ideally, a day in the life of a music student is completely absorbed in music. After all, that's the reason you got into this, right? You got into this because you love to sing or you love to play. Our ensembles are a large part of your day because those, depending on your audition and your placement, you will be singing and playing a good bit and making music with folks at a much higher level than you're ever used to doing, especially than at high school. You'll also have private lessons with an applied instructor. As I already pointed out here, you will be studying with artist teachers and not be studying with graduate students, unlike many institutions. And that's a time where you start honing your craft such that you can be a more effective soloist and a more effective member of an ensemble, and you will start seating higher in the orchestra chairs as well as the bands. Your academic courses, you're going to have theory and sight singing, and of course music history is introduced later on. And theory and sight singing, they're just so critical to be able to learn to speak the language of a musician. There are some artists who make it simply by saying that they've learned everything by ear, but most of the artists who have had sustained careers are ones who know the language of music, know how to write it, and know how to notate it, and know how to speak intelligibly with a group of musicians.
Sure. So it seems like all of those activities and ways that students are engaging in music is what helps them be a successful student throughout their experience at CMU and the school.
But in addition to that, we also have student organizations such as some of our a cappella groups, some of our chamber music groups, students who just get together to play music, whether it's instrumental or to sing together. So our students, those are the connections that you're building while you're here, because if you think about it, even as you're sitting in a theory class or an oral skills class, the person to the left of you and the person to the right of you, they are going to become the counterparts with whom you work for the rest of your life. One is liable to become the conductor of a symphony. One is going to be a high school music teacher. One is going to be the choral conductor at a university. These are all people that you are going to build your, for lack of a better way of saying it, your web, your circle of friends and associates. And, as corny as it sounds, fire up chips.
Well, certainly that is the goal, right? Is to fire up these students and families, and so that as they move into this orientation, that they get connected.
Yeah.
And I appreciate your time as we move through this. Thank you for helping to introduce these students to these opportunities. And there's really just one more thing that I want to mention, and that is that the School of Music is doing, all of our departments, but the School of Music is doing some Q&As via Zoom on Fridays, every Friday from May the 29th through June the 26th at 3 p.m. Dr. Tucker or other staff and faculty from the School of Music will be available, and that can be accessed at cam.cmich.edu/orientation. And also Dr. Tucker's email address will be on the next slide if you have any particular questions. Any other thoughts, Dr. Tucker?
Absolutely. I would encourage you that if you have any questions about becoming a major, or if you have questions as you are becoming a major in this orientation time, please reach out to me. It is my distinct honor to be able to serve students and fellow musicians who want to really have a profession in a wonderful career.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
You bet.